What's up, world? Wake y'all asses up. This is another episode of
Change the Day Podcast.
and I got a very, very special guest with me. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey guys, how y'all doing? My name is Tresvon Pratt, and we about to drop some jewels on y'all today. Let's go, Paul.
Yes, sir. So we back at it again. I had to bring a special guest on with me today. I know y'all get tired of hearing my voice every once in a while. You know, you keep hearing the same voice over and over again. And I brought this guy, Tresvon, to the podcast today because this dude has been a very big inspiration to me. So I had to bring him out and share information, and we just gonna chat, you know. So we had discussed some topics we wanted to go over, and the main topic, the first topic, not the main one, but the first topic we want to discuss is entrepreneurship. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pass it over to Trey because he actually has a support group for entrepreneurship. So I'm gonna have him talk a little bit about the support group, and then we're gonna get right into it. So go ahead, Trey.
Yeah, so thanks first and foremost for having me here, Paul.
Oh, no problem, man.
I appreciate you, brother. I do have a support group for entrepreneurs. It's called AIM, and it stands for Always Improving the Mind. And that's one of the most significant things that I could tell people is because you have to be willing to learn. You have to be willing to grind, to do, to put into action what you learn. You have to be willing to do more in order to get more. You know, so when people talk about entrepreneurship, it's become more of a trend because so many people, jump on that bandwagon. But if you're actually going to do it, it's going to be a process, and it's something that you're going to have to go through. Otherwise you just luck up or you bail out.
Yeah.
But the ones who are successful could teach. The ones who made it by luck, they can't tell you what happened.
Yeah.
They can't pinpoint what they had to go through. Somebody else might have handed it to them. I know quite a few entrepreneurs that asked for advice before I set out on my own journey, and they couldn't tell me nothing. They just tell me the basics, like, oh man, you're gonna have to work. Oh man, you're gonna have to grind. Yes, I know that, but what what does that entail? Like, what does that mean really? Like, grind towards what? I feel like I'm grinding and I still ain't got nowhere. So what do you mean by grinding? They can't tell me. They couldn't explain that to me. So it's like, all right, well, when I talk to those, I reached out to higher end people. I reached out to those who had high success that was obvious, and it was instead of just people who started a business. And those people could tell me, listen, man, you're going to have to, for one, talk to certain people like I was doing at that moment, like that person. Talk to those type of people, surround your environment with those type of people. You're going to have to pick up a book. They ask me stuff like, what's the last book you read?
Yeah.
And
that's
I'm like,
important.
I can't tell you. I didn't. You know what I mean? I ain't read nothing since high school.
That long.
It was like, and it changed my mindset. And that was the most important factor is how I was thinking in order to be able to establish anything, especially becoming an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, most of us have those types of thoughts. All of us have a thought towards where there's something we could do or something that we could start, some type of movement or whatever, like all of us have those type of thoughts, but only a few actually act on it.
Yeah.
So my journey is a bit complex, because for me to get into entrepreneurship, I was nervous, I was scared, I put it off a lot. And what I did was I finally made a decision. For one, I made a decision to make decisions instead of just hoping that things will work out. I made a decision that things are going to work out. I'm going to make it happen, come hell or high water.
Yeah.
So then I started reaching out to different people. See, I'm confrontational. I'm old school. I'm not big on Because most people now, you hear them, they go to YouTube, they go to podcasts, they go to all these other places on the internet by themselves. Me, I'd rather be upfront with the person that I want to talk to.
Mm.
So that was a good thing for me because it didn't allow me to put anyone else on a pedestal.
Yeah.
So when what I do is I invest in real estate. I'm a wholesaler, and that's just the beginning phase. That's just to build capital in order to be able to establish myself, to be able to make higher end investments myself without having to do anything with anyone else. I can push the button myself.
Yeah.
So what I do is real estate. In order for me to do real estate, I reached out to others who were doing real estate. I didn't go to YouTube at all,
Mm.
right? Um, I listened to ads on the radio. I reached out to people. I went to these seminars. I went to different meetups. And as I was doing it, the information started becoming repetitive.
Mm.
So the few people that I did link up with, we started going to the meetups together, and we basically formed a little group. But we was like, there's something missing
Mm.
from these because it started turning into bragging rights. It started turning into like who's more dominant where, who got what.
Yeah.
Instead of let's focus on actually helping everyone who needs that assistance, the reason why they're here.
Mm.
And I kind of backed away from those meetings, and then the guys that I was with was like, man, we should start our own group, and we should start our own meetings. And I'm like, yeah, no, like I'm with it, but not right now. You know what I mean? And it was like, all right, but they was right. They was right. I don't. I didn't agree with the timing, but one of the things that I have learned is uh, time is of the essence.
Mm-hmm.
You do it in the now versus putting it off till later. You never know what can come of it. And
Mm.
there's no such thing as failure. Either you win or you learn.
Yeah, that's right.
So I was like, okay. And I know me. Whatever I'm gonna put my energy into, I'm going all in.
Mm.
I don't want to half-ass anything. So what I did was I came up with the concept and what our meetings would entail. So what was missing? It was like, all right, I'm doing real estate. These other guys I'm doing real estate with, and all of us in the same spot, but we're looking for something, and we haven't found it yet.
Mm.
What is it that we're looking for? Initially, what I needed was someone to help me build my mindset, the tenacity that I'm going to need to actually pursue real estate.
That's big.
You know,
Yeah.
because nobody could tell me that. Nobody was telling me nothing. Everybody want to give their success. I want to know what your hardships were like. I
Yeah.
need your emotion because I'm going through something right now.
Mm.
I'm going through it, and I feel like it ain't working. Nobody's telling me at that point is where you need to go harder. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of bouncing out. I'm like, okay. And that's when I started talking to the right people. I started asking the right questions.
Mm.
And these people who are consistently closing deals, you know, making $20,000-$30,000 a deal, and they doing 3 or 4 of them a month.
Mm.
You know, like all year.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, I just need one of those.
Just give me one to start off with, yeah.
And I'm like, okay. So once I started picking their brains and pinpointing things, what I saw was you need that mindset in order to go forward with being an entrepreneur, with basically being alone and putting in the work and work and work day in, day out, not seeing the result until maybe a year. I didn't get my first deal closed in real estate until a year after I started.
Mm.
And I take that first year, I look at it now as that was all preparation.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of stuff that I thought I knew, I had to forget in order to learn.
That's big right there.
You feel me?
That's big.
You feel me?
Everything we learned growing up.
Yes.
Yeah. Everything we learned.
Yes. Credit bad. No, it ain't.
Yeah.
No, it ain't. You
uh,
gotta use it the right way. That's it.
yeah.
But man, so yeah. And I started when I did that. I started looking into books. I started, getting references to books, and it was like, all right. And the books that I was picking up, I was catching on like that, and I was like becoming a fan of reading, because now I'm reading for a purpose.
Yeah.
I'm reading for a reason instead of somebody just saying you need to read this book. Nah, why? Like go deeper than that. Like I need to know things.
Mm.
So it was like, all right, things started clicking, and that's where AIM came from. I was like, man, what are we doing here? We're always improving the mind. That's an acronym. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like we could play with that. We could take that. It grabs your attention. It grabs your focus. What's your aim? You could put a slogan behind it. All that. I was like, man, I'm gonna take that and run.
Yeah.
So when I started that out, I reached out to hundreds of people, and our first meeting was in a warehouse, because we do real estate. So it was in a warehouse that one of my partners at the time, uh, he was working at this warehouse, basically like a distribution warehouse for like granite and marble and all of that, all of your appliances and all that type of stuff, called Alpha Stone. So it was like, we could host a meeting here. Because I had no idea like where we gonna have a meeting, what we gonna do, how we gonna, whatever.
Yeah.
All of that had to be thought of, plotted out, but that was later. Um, we had our first meeting. I reached out to hundreds of people. A few people put themselves on a pedestal. I felt I got a little bit of rejection,
Uh,
and it didn't matter because 15 people showed up. I didn't expect that many to show. I said, if
yeah.
we have 10, that's a good thing.
Mm.
And I've had meetings where, not that many people showed up. But we had 15 people. So really, what I'm looking at it as, shoot, man, we did 50% better than what I was expecting.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Plotted for it, everything. And the way that was, see, with entrepreneurship, be open, be kind. When you open minded and you network, they say your network is your net worth. That is a
Yes.
true statement.
Yes.
Because the reason why they allowed us to use the building as our first location for that meeting was to be able to generate traffic for their products. They was having a big sale because they was moving locations.
Mm-hmm.
So with us doing that, and we do real estate, so most of the people that came was real estate. They was investors, or they was buyers. They was higher investors. They was people looking for good deals of all types.
Mm-hmm.
And they came in there and saw all the stuff that they was selling at the time. I didn't know as big of a discount it was, but they was selling stuff from overseas imported in
Mm-hmm.
for less than that's higher end, for less than you would get at the Lowe's and the Home Depot and stuff that people go to.
Yeah.
You know, so it was a win-win because we generated traffic for them, and we had a location for our meeting. Plus people took us even more serious because it was a real estate thing. It was all real estate,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like, all right, cool. So it was like, all right, these people got something to talk about.
Yeah.
You know, um, when I say be open, man, I'm serious. Like I I couldn't expect things to go the way they did.
Mm-hmm.
It started off with three of us. Now there's two. The first person who didn't show up to any other meetings, and then he winded up just bailing out like he don't even text or nothing. I'm like, bro, you still supposed to be like a brother to me.
Yeah.
You know,
Man, business could do that to the relationships, man.
to do it. And I was like, man, going through it. So, with all of that, like, you come across obstacles that you can't imagine yourself. You know, I mean, you can try as much as you can for preparation for a lot of things, but you're not gonna know everything. You're not going to always be prepared for everything. So that's another part of that tenacity, that mindset that you're going to have to develop. All of this kept on coming to me when it came to thinking of what this group entails, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yo, like when it comes to always improving the mind, that's for everything, not just real estate. That's for any entrepreneur. That's for anybody who wants it. And then I was reading the books, and the books was leading me to think like, okay, you're gonna have to target your audience. All right. So I was like, of course, I feel like it's important. Everybody should hear it. Everybody should feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody should gravitate to it. Everybody should come. That ain't how it works.
Yeah, never is.
That ain't how it works. So I'm reading the books, I'm getting a little more knowledge, and it says you had to target your audience. So when that hit me, I was like, all right, who the main person that wants motivation, that wants to hear, experiences, wants to build with other people, needs to build their network, that type of thing. And the main thing that came to me is what we are. It's entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
man, of all types. So what is an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur does not mean you get paid for what you do.
That's the truth right there,
You
man.
know,
That's the truth.
entrepreneur does not mean you get paid for what you do. Um, that is your goal, I'm sure. Some type of way you're going to benefit from doing whatever it is that you set out to do alone. Um, by the way, the day of the lonely entrepreneur is over. That's another reason I created AIM, is because all of us entrepreneurs, like I said, your network is your network. I wouldn't have had that location had it not been an entrepreneur who had built that there,
Mm-hmm.
and established that and allowed me to use that in order for me to help them. So I want all entrepreneurs, whoever may, tune into this, I want all entrepreneurs to understand that you're not by yourself.
Yeah.
Nothing is done by yourself. Of course, you're going to put in a lot of sweat equity. You're going to put in a lot of time. You're going to put a lot of energy, maybe even a lot of money towards your product or service or idea. But in order for that product, service, or idea to catch on, who it got to catch on with? Other people.
Yeah.
So it's not a lonely thing. If you want to be big, hell, even if you want to be small, man, if you want to be a business, you're going to need other people there to be able to outsource some of the work that you got
Mm-hmm.
going on. So it's not a lonely thing. I got here by myself. No, you didn't.
Yeah.
No, you didn't. Them deals I closed, I was able to help the person that was dealing with a problem with their property, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I can't go around like, man, I did this, I did that. I helped another individual, yes,
Mm-hmm.
and I got paid for it. As that's my service. How do you value yourself?
Yeah.
you know. But I didn't do that by myself. That money didn't come to me out of nowhere. And that didn't just pop up out of thin air. That's somebody else. So entrepreneurship is not a lonely thing, right? And you should want to make some type of income from whatever it is that you set out to do on your own, or whatever service or product or idea that you provide. That's what an entrepreneur is. You provide a service, product, or idea to the masses, to other people who may need it that you feel is lacking.
Mm-hmm.
That's what an entrepreneur is. So the main thing that I ask people when they tell me that they want to be an entrepreneur is why.
Yeah.
Why do you want to be an entrepreneur? And I ask that because your why has to be strong enough to carry over. Because, like I said, you're gonna have them times. You're gonna have them times where maybe you're doing real good. So now you feel like you need to lack, you need to slack, you need to chill, you need to go here, do this, do that, do all the stuff that you was doing prior to you getting where you are, and not realizing that that's gonna bring you right back down.
Mm-hmm.
If you indulge too much in that activity. Not to say not to have fun. We are young,
Yeah.
do like our stuff. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Not to say not to have fun, but have your fun. get back in tune with yourself, get back up and running. You know, that's like a break. You got that break, now you get back on the field and hit the ground running.
Yeah.
So I ask people why be an entrepreneur, because when them times hit, when you're doing real good and you feel like I don't need to put in the same amount of energy, then reality will hit you. When you're doing bad and nothing's working for you, that reality hits you real hard. You know, like it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. And if you don't experience it, congrats to you. But I know from experience that the person that get knocked down and gets back up is stronger than the one who never got knocked down.
I got a quick question for you, Trey.
Yes.
So speaking on that why, what's your why?
Was my why?
What's your why? What's the reason why Trey decided to become an entrepreneur?
I have many reasons.
Mm-hmm.
One, I like organization. I like leadership. Most jobs that I work at, I have bosses. Bosses make you feel like they're important. A leader makes you feel like you're important.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like the stigma of do what I say. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that because you're not teaching me nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You want me to just do what you say. You want me to follow you blindly. You're not God.
Yeah.
You know, we got God in us. So teach me. You know, so that's one of my motivations is I don't like being told what to do. I like being showed. I like being taught. I don't like being told what to do. All right, I don't like having an overhead because none of my overheads could think the way that I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yo, like I've solved many problems for you in this company. Why don't you listen to me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why wouldn't you listen to the one who has to deal with the problem about the problem?
Yeah.
You know, it just does not make
The one
sense.
on the front line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it don't make sense. And then the one who, the one at the bottom, usually the one who taking care of the company.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all the FedExes, all the whatever, they the ones who's packaging stuff, the ones who's handling all the shipping, they get overlooked. I mean, it's easy to replace, sure, but take care of your people. I don't feel like I was ever taken care of.
Yeah.
You know, the way I would operate as a boss, as a manager, as a leader, as a CEO, as an entrepreneur, nobody else showed me the same respect.
Yeah.
So that was one of my motivations. I need to put that out there because I need other people to feel respected and, get shown that type of love, that type of leadership when it comes to that because at the end of the day, whatever I'm doing is feeding you,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So why not? Why
Yeah.
not show that? Like, how could you not? Like, why it got to be a certain class? Like, we're all people at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So that was one of my motivations. Another motivation is finances.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to make more money, but we gonna get into that deeper too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I just wanted people to hear because I think some of the issue is, like you said, people don't know why they want to do something.
mm-hmm.
They don't know why. They just see, oh, they doing it. You know, oh, I see Jay-Z a rapper.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think I could rap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or I see, LeBron out there shooting a basketball. Oh, I want to go shoot a basketball.
Right.
People have no idea
Yeah.
the work, the
Yes.
time, the effort,
Was done
the
in the dark.
10,000 hours
Yes.
that people put in to master their craft.
Yes.
People don't understand that. And like you said, the why is so important because if you want to be a basketball player or if you want to be in sports, when everybody else go home, your why is gonna be the one that be like, you know what? No, I need to put up another 100 jump shots.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I need to do,
Some more sprints.
I need to do some more wind sprints.
Yeah.
I need to do more push-ups. I need to stay in the
Yeah.
weight room longer. The people that got the strongest why always succeed. Jay-Z, he got turned down by every record company.
Yeah.
That would stop a lot of people, but him and Dame, they turned around and was like, you know what? Forget the record company. We still gonna get this done. We're gonna build our own thing.
Yes, indeed.
And they did it, And so that's when the why is so important.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? The why is so important. So that's why I had you share like what your why was, because I think it's important for the listeners out here to know, like, first off, what a why is, why people think certain ways. And actually, I'll go ahead and give y'all my why because
Yeah.
now I just thought about it. I ain't giving my why, but the reason why I wanted to be an entrepreneur is because I'm gonna be honest. My dad was an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You know, my dad. I never remember my dad like really having a boss. I know he did in some of the jobs, but like he came and went as he pleased. But the thing was, my dad was always gone a lot. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? He worked a lot of hours. But like whenever I need him at a basketball game, he was always there. Whenever I need him to be somewhere, he was always there. So then when I go and work a job, and then I ask for time off, they're like, "No, you can't have that time
Yes.
off."
Yes.
I'm like, "Hold on a second," you know what I'm saying? And so I'm not used to. I didn't see that, you know.
Yeah.
So I didn't see that. So that's one of my whys. My second why is like to build a legacy. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? I want to take what my parents built on and then push it further.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I want people to be like when they look at the history of D Berries, they gonna look and at the top they be like, yeah, that's great great grandfather Paul that started it all. You know what I'm saying? We got all of this because of him. You
Yeah.
know, and that's the other thing. And then a lot of times, man, this podcast came through me going through situations with my ex-wife. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people get so caught up in their misery,
Yeah.
people get so caught up in their sadness and stuff like that, they just sit and dwell in it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
man.
saying? They sit and they just dwell and they feel sorry for themselves and things like that. And I know for a little while I was like that. But then I just had this feeling where like, yo, I gotta express myself. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? I wanna get the things that I'm feeling or the things that's going on with me and share it to the people because like you said, people need to hear this information. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like today we right now we're just focusing on entrepreneurship, but we're gonna get a little bit deeper into it as we go on.
Right.
But people need to hear information. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? People need to hear people, like you said, stories. And because that's what motivate people. That's what pushes people. That's what pushes cultures and everything.
Yeah.
So those just like a couple of my whys. You know what I'm saying? Of course, family. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Like finances and stuff like that. But y'all, what he said is so important. You gotta have a why. That's the thing that's gonna get you out of bed some days when you don't feel
Mm-hmm.
like getting up. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Them days when you feel like doing something dumb. You know what I'm saying? And risking it all, you think about them whys and be like, no, it's not worth it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so it's important, man. If I and as we go on, we'll make sure we emphasize like really key points.
Yeah.
But why, man? Get your whys together.
So yeah, Paul, that is very important, man. I talked to this one guy, and I asked. He said he gonna be. He was an entrepreneur. He started a business, so he's certified as an entrepreneur. So I had asked him, "Why are you an entrepreneur?" He couldn't give me a clear answer. After about 2 months of me consistently asking, he gave me an answer. He said, "You know what, man? Forget it. I'm gonna be honest, man. I need the money, man. I want the money." And I was like, "All right, so you became an entrepreneur to make money." He was like, "That's right." It's like, "All right, you understand that money is numbers. Numbers are infinite.
uh
If it's about money, you'll never be satisfied."
yeah, man.
So I said, "Okay, how much money do you need in order for you to consider yourself successful?" And he couldn't tell me. He could not tell
uh
me, man. He could not tell me. I was like, that's because, to reiterate the last point, man, if it's just about money, it'll never be enough,
yeah.
you know? So let's jump into topic about talking about money. Money, we all want it. Money has become a necessity for the world.
Hmm.
You know, if you ask me, I'd rather have a barter system. I like a barter system. I could trade your product or service for whatever it is that I do well. You
Hmm.
know, I could do that. I like that. I like that thought. That don't always work, but it does work in today's society. Everybody doesn't always need money. Um, I know people who've done real estate. They've sold houses for like Rolexes and stuff like that.
That's wild.
You
Yeah.
know, like
Uh-huh.
they got such a big portfolio. They have so many houses
Uh-huh.
that they could offload. Hey man, just look,
That's wild.
you know, I like that Corvette.
Yeah, let me get
Let me get
that.
that
You get
jump.
this
You know what I'm
house over
saying?
here.
Yeah, I'll let you get that
That's
one on the
another league
corner.
right
You
there,
know.
man. That's a league. That's another league.
I know people that but it's real, man.
Hmm.
Like the more money people have, the less that they focus on it or emphasize it.
Yeah.
Um, Not that it's not important. It's just that they are free to look at other things.
Hmm.
You know, so money essentially is a tool. We put so much emphasis on money, but money is essentially a tool to be able to do the things that you actually want to do. That's why they say money is the root of all evil. No, it's just evil people get
Yeah,
money
that's right.
and their true intentions unfold.
Yep.
I've already established myself. You know, I'm a kind-hearted guy. Everything I do is from heart.
Mm.
I don't do nothing. I try not to do nothing wicked. If it is, it's just because my heart is hurt or something like
Hmm.
that. But I've already taken a lot of my profit and put it towards things that was not going to bring me any more income, but it was to help someone else. That's my primary goal. That's my purpose, is to help people unselfishly worldwide.
Hmm.
I got a list of goals. I write them out every night. And that's one of the things that I learned. Write down your goals.
Yes, that's
Write down
big.
your goals. Uh, it becomes a visual, and you can see it. You can visualize it, and what you can visualize, you can actually work towards.
Hmm.
Write down your goals. That's one of the key points. You know, so
Emphasize that. Write down the goals, man. Figure
yeah,
out your goals first. Write them down every day.
yep. And no goal is too big, too small, or unimportant. They don't have to be shared with anyone. Not your wife, not your husband. Your goals are yours. I encourage you, if you are in a relationship or have a spouse, I encourage you to make some goals together for that
Hmm.
relationship,
Yes.
so that y'all will be on the same page, same wavelength. But your goals are yours personally, and you should have them. That's what you need to work towards. That's what gives you purpose. Accomplishing, achieving, or making steps, making strides towards something meaningful in your life, something that you actually want, that gives your life purpose. So write down your goals and work towards them, and they're personal, so they don't have to be shared,
Hmm.
right? So money is a tool in order for us to do exactly that. What is it that you want to do, want to accomplish, and that establishes more of your why,
Yes.
you know? So if it's money, why do you need the money?
Exactly. Yep.
Why do you need
Hmm.
the money? There's people who are homeless who are happy,
Yeah.
you know?
Uh-huh.
But you miserable with a roof over your head and food in your mouth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So why do you need the money? Why do you want so much more money? And
Hmm.
understand that it's an abundance out here.
Hmm.
It's enough for us all.
Yeah.
Every one of us could be millionaires, like seriously, and there won't be no shortage of anything,
Hmm.
like seriously. So money is a tool. When you become an entrepreneur, learn more about money. Seek out to learn more about money. Read books. There's plenty out there. Talk to bankers and financial advisors
Hmm.
and uh, people that know money, that works alongside money. Talk to those type of people, brokers. All of those type of people, lawyers, whatever. People who have money and you see doing well off. Talk to them. Tax specialists, CPA. Talk to them. Talk to people, man.
And Trey, I'm gonna cut in real quick on that. Um, it's so important, and it went back to what Trey was talking about earlier about networking. A lot of us have a fear of talking to people.
Hmm.
We have a fear to like just say hi to people.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised how far you'll get in life with just saying hi to somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How you doing today? Look, you look sharp. Like, what do you
Yeah.
do? You know what I'm
Speak
saying?
it. Speak
Like,
it,
yo, you
man.
look sharp. Like, what do you do? Oh, I work in, finance. Yo, man, it's crazy. Like, I'm trying to work on my finances. Or,
Yeah.
like, you look sharp. Oh, I'm a lawyer. Man, you know what? I needed help with such and such. You
Yeah.
be surprised. Like, that done happened to me so many times. I done met some of the coolest people. I done got so much information. Shoot, I
Mm-hmm.
done talked about just life
Yeah.
with random strangers. And honestly, those are the best people to talk to because they have no vested interest in you.
Yeah.
They don't have no vested interest in your situation that you're going through, and they
Mm-hmm.
don't even know you.
Yep.
They don't
Yep.
know you, so they just going off of strictly what you telling them.
Yeah.
Like, yo, hey, I need help. I'm trying to save up this amount of money. I make this amount. Yo,
What could
what
I do?
things? What should I do to help me get to that point? And then you sit down, you talk to somebody, and they can show you that.
Yeah.
It's amazing, man.
It's
So
amazing.
that's big, man. Just like you said, just speaking to people,
Talk
stuff
to
like that.
people,
Yeah.
man. Talk to people. You know, like I said, all of that fuels your why.
Hmm.
You know, and on top of that, one of the things that held me back from being an entrepreneur was because I knew that I would have to sell something. And growing up, I saw the salesman as an unethical person.
Yep.
I was shown that, like anybody who's doing sales, you see that suit and tie, oh man, they trying to get you, they trying to swindle you, they trying to
Mm.
hustle you, they gonna get you out of whatever, yo. And then you hear people who brag, man, I could sell desert sand to the desert, I could sell water to a well, and it's
Mm.
like, yo, that's unethical. Why would you
Why
do
the
that?
wild
You
well need
know?
water?
Right. That's immoral, bro. Like I'm not with that. So for a long time I had a negative viewpoint of what a salesman was, of sales in general. So I was real tight with the little bit that I had. I wouldn't spend nothing. I was very cheap. I was like, settling for low grade, low quality things and was miserable because I had low grade, low quality things. So it was like, yo, like I'm struggling here, I'm scrambling here, and I'm fighting, and I got this vice grip on a bunch of nothingness, you know. And when I decided to start making decisions, one of the things that I decided was, I do want nice things.
Mm.
That's not a bad thing to want good stuff. Growing up, we had that. Like it was like, yo, like rich people are all bad, or
Yeah.
you know, to be wealthy, you can be hated and all of this. And it's just like so many negative views, and that's just coming from a low standing point from people who don't have money. Honestly, it was envy, you
Mm.
know? And you couldn't see it because, that's coming from the parents or coming from grandparents. It's coming from aunts and uncles. It's coming from the adults that's supposed to be teaching us,
Yeah.
So again, I had the negative viewpoint towards money, sales, all of it. It was just like, yo, I'm gonna stay away from it. How the hell I'm gonna stay away from it when that's life?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If there's anything that I want to do, I'm gonna have to be able to pay for it. I'm gonna have to be able to afford it.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, I'm like, man, I want the big house and nice cars and all of that. But I'm like, oh, money is bad. Well, I'm gonna need to get money in order so I'm gonna have to be a corrupt person in order.
Yeah.
Nah, man. So I was searching for a long time to put that together and becoming an entrepreneur. I was able to determine how I want to run things.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, I was able to establish my ethics, my morals into my business.
Yeah.
Another big why,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to stay ethical. Like if I make an investment, it's because, like I said, I'm doing everything from my heart. I bring my mind along, but I'm doing everything from my heart. If I declare it, if I act on it, it's because my heart told me to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I feel in my heart that that's a good thing. I could do that.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I ignore it, that's when bad things happen.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I learned to listen. So stay ethical. You know, it's a big thing. Stay ethical. I was able to establish that. So then I started reading up and listening to podcasts and stuff. I started doing that type of stuff on certain things, and money was one of them. And a big shout out to Grant Cardone because
Grant
that's my
is the
man.
man. Yes.
That's my man, Uncle
10x.
G. Uncle
10x.
G.
Yeah. Uh huh.
And I love the way he's like so blunt about it because that's how I perceive it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give me all this different terminology, all these words that try to sound good on your end. No, give it to me how I need it. I need it straight. Tell it to me straight. What is this?
Mm-hmm.
And why is it that way? How could I make it better? I get that from him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of for real, he's a mentor to me.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of the people I listen to about money
Mm-hmm.
and real estate. Um, on top of that, when I started doing all of that and learning more about money, learning more about finances, you heard a lot of make your money work for you,
Mm-hmm.
but still there was no guidance on how to do that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so making your money work for you, making money while you sleep. What that means is you're gonna have to invest into assets versus liabilities.
Yep.
So when you make a little money, doesn't matter how much you make, you're gonna have to think like an investor. You're an investor. Become an investor. Meaning you factor in expenses, you factor in uh, marketing if there's any to be made, you factor in what the profit could be, what you're aiming for, you know, all of that needs to be factored in, and then you can take whatever from those portions, whatever works for you, and you can either save it to build more, keep saving. I was always taught to save my money. Saving my money didn't help me when I didn't have nothing to save it towards,
Uh-huh.
you
Yeah.
know? Because either way, that money is going to go somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So when I started, working good jobs and making good money, what was good money at the time, I would save, and then things would happen. Random occurrences would happen where like car breakdown, and it'd be something severe. Like I need to handle that, and that'll draw out my whole savings. I ain't had no credit at the time. So it was like that's all my money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to do. I'm back at square one just with one problem. So become an investor. So you'll have that accounted for. You'll learn that it's not all profit minus expense. For instance, with real estate, you have to factor in taxes, you have to factor in repairs, you have to factor in expenses, you have to factor in vacancy, you have to factor in all of those, and then what's left after that is the profit, so that you're creating a net for yourself if any of those things was to occur, you
Mm-hmm.
know, instead of, oh man, you out back when something does happen.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to become an investor when it comes to being an entrepreneur and get smart with your money instead of just saving for nothing and not putting things back into your own business and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Also, one of the main things I want to touch on is when it comes to mindset, you have to be mindful of who you listen to.
Oh man, that's big. That's big right there, bro.
You have to be
Woo.
mindful of who you listen to because I know for me, I didn't realize that everybody around me had a scarcity mindset
Mm.
instead of abundance.
Mm.
The difference is the ones who have the scarcity mindset think of what's wrong, what can't happen, what's not possible, and they're going to try to shortstop you, from ever doing anything. So let's say, for instance, you get excited, you decide that you're going to be an entrepreneur, you go tell moms, which I've done. And tell them your idea, what you about to do. And they'll say the first thing, you ain't got no money for that.
Uh-huh.
How you gonna do that? How you think you gonna do that? Well, if you're gonna do all that, you need to give me this and that, and you need to do this and that. You ain't never had no, and you ain't even go to school for. You gonna get all of whatever. You
Mm.
know, I told my I'm gonna do real estate, man. She about ignored them. I was like, yo, like you don't even take me serious.
Uh-huh.
You know, and I was like, man. And then once I started actually making some traction in real estate before I closed my first deal, it was like, oh, you better watch out for them taxes. Oh, you better watch out for the da da da. And you can't be calling people you don't even know them. We cold call, you know. It's just the same thing like telemarketers. They'll call you, you know, and ask you whatever. Uh, so I cold call. I gotta call people and talk to them about selling their house. Otherwise, how is somebody going to sell their house to me if I never ask?
Mm.
You know, versus the scarcity mindset that's saying, oh, no, you can't do that. You can't talk to people. You can't call people. You could be the shining light, that beacon, that solution that somebody's been searching for, you know, that doesn't know is out there,
Mm.
you know? But scarcity mindset will make you sit back. You think in abundance, you're like, all right, I need to find that one person that might actually need my services,
Yeah.
you know? So scarcity versus abundance mindset is a big thing. You need
Mm.
to think abundantly. When it comes to money, it's enough for us all.
Mm.
You know, when it comes to entrepreneurship, look, man, someone out there needs what it is that you're providing.
Mm.
Think of that. Hone in on that, you know, versus, man, so many other people started this business or so many other people do the same thing or they could offer and da da da. It's not competition, man.
Mm.
Competition in a negative way is scarcity.
Yeah.
You know, when you think of competition, it should just be like, who can I compete with simply to make me better
Mm.
versus I'm gonna stop because so many other people doing the same thing. You know,
Mm.
like competition could be a negative thing if looked at wrong. You know,
Yeah.
if you look at it the wrong way, then competition could make you want to bail out because regardless of what you got, what you're doing, someone somewhere in some type of shape or form has thought of or is implementing the same thing.
That's true. That's true.
You know,
Yeah.
so when you focus on that, when it comes to competition, it's like a negative spirit of comparison, and you're looking at maybe you've seen a commercial and you see a commercial, you automatically think like, okay, well, they're big, they're
Mm.
doing everything, they got it. I know people calling, I know people going to them, I know they getting business. Versus you over here just starting, you know.
Mm.
I ride past billboards, you know, I could buy your house, and here I am with a cutout cardboard sign that
Uh-huh.
I stapled to a to a pole like I could buy your house. And it's
uh,
like, yo, if I was to sit there with that negative spirit of comparison, like look at that versus what I got, I would stop,
mm.
you know? But I've reached more people with those small handmade signs than, or at least in my mind, than what the billboard has because the billboard, a lot of people see it as, oh, they too big. They gonna same thing. They gonna swindle you. They gonna hustle you.
Hmm.
They gonna take your stuff away. They ain't even looking at you. You look at the handmade. You just like, excuse me. It's like, oh, okay, I know this is a person. I know that they're gonna talk to me about my situation. I
Work
know that
with me.
they probably don't have as much, so whatever,
Mm.
whatever the thought might be. It's like, look, for one, it's a more personal approach,
Mm.
than the big flashy, And I was reading a book. It's called The Seven Levels of Communication, and it was two realtors in the same firm. One was doing really well, or seemed like he was doing really well, and then this other one reached out to someone else for some assistance, and he started following the principles that this other guy was teaching him. He had got a mentor basically, and he didn't do any of the marketing. Didn't send out no cards. wasn't doing much of any cold calling. No emails or nothing like that.
Mm.
But he started, closing more deals consistently,
Mm.
and he built a referral network. In that book, The Seven Levels of Communication, he built
Mm.
a referral network. And what was so important about that was everything was more personal.
Yeah.
It wasn't a fight. It wasn't a struggle. I don't have to prove to you who I am. Somebody else showed you. They already trust that person.
Yeah.
So, you know. So that guy who had all the flashy stuff came to him and was like, "Man, you outdoing me this quarter.
Mm.
You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. After spending all the money on all the marketing, I barely break even.
That's wild.
So he's struggling. Then he wound up getting a divorce
Mm.
in the book. He wound up getting a divorce, and he's got to account for that too.
Mm-hmm.
And like, dude was just like on a downward spiral, you know. So when it came to competition, he looked good for other people, but he was actually doing bad.
Yeah.
You know, you never know what somebody else going through or what they got going on. You know what their why is.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because the ones who want to do it just for the money, more than likely, it's just imagery.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing it for the image. You want to be seen. You want to look like you're doing good. A lot of times, you scratch past that surface, they not doing as well as they look like they do.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, man. And I know we covered a lot of things as far as entrepreneurship, man. We definitely cover mind state, your why,
Yeah.
you know, getting your thoughts and everything together.
Mm-hmm.
And
Becoming
actually, the
invested.
one last thing I just wanted you to kind of just touch with the people with before we wrap up with entrepreneurship
Yeah.
is just give them like some of the books to kind of help
Oh
with your
man,
your mind state as far as
man.
that.
The first book that I went to a seminar, right, and I got through the seminar. After I got through the trials and tribulations of the seminar, so I had to go through some things in order to get there, and then I had to participate while I was there. It was a workshop. So what they did was they referred me to two books, and one was the Wholesaling Bible. So if you want to get into real estate, get the Wholesaling Bible by Theron Merrill. It's a great book, and it gives you a step by step process about it. Um, Also, they gave me a book called Goals by Brian Tracy.
All right, Tracy. Mm-hmm.
You know, and they gave me a challenge. They said, look, because I ain't had the money to go forward with the mentorship.
Mm.
You know, they was bigger guys. So I ain't had the money to go forward with the mentorship, but they was like, listen, take this and run with it, basically. And then they challenged me. They said, look, just read the first 2 pages of this book. So the first book that I read was Goals, and then it explained the significance of why I should set goals and write them down, you know.
Mm.
And what it stated in that book was there was Harvard, there was a MBA, was it MBA, MA? I don't know. It was a graduate program at Harvard,
Mm.
and they had asked the students what was their goals, had they written them down. Most of them said nah. A few of them said yeah, they had goals, and only 3% said that they had goals and written them down. So in 10 years after they graduated and stuff, they follow up with the grads, and it was 13% that had goals but hadn't written them down. They was doing pretty well. They was actually in jobs according to their degrees, but the 3% was doing 10 times better than everybody
Mm. Combined, right?
combined.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That 3% said you want to be in that top 3%. Write down your goals. I
Yeah.
was like, all right, clear. Boom. From
Started
that
right
moment,
down
yeah,
goals since then.
yeah. So to get a deeper analysis of that book, man, I encourage everybody to get it. It's called Goals by Brian Tracy. Another one is Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss, and that's a book on negotiating. You
Mm.
know, because one of the obstacles that I faced was being that I stayed away from sales. Was somebody tell me no, I say okay, and I'm
Mm.
gone, I'm done. I take it as that. But nah, bro, no is the start of a negotiation.
Yeah.
You know, you want them to feel like they got power. You want them to have power, the power to say no. The ones who have the power to say no usually will say yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so never split the difference. I got the audio book of that. and it was the first audiobook that I got all the way through. That thing 8 hours, you know,
Yeah.
and I was excited. I had to listen to it. Like it literally like as soon as it started, it trapped me, you
Mm.
know, because the guy is the master negotiator for the CIA, I think.
Uh-huh.
So he's telling his experiences, his stories that he actually had to negotiate life or death situations, you know,
Mm.
and it's like, yo, like, and you got to take that knowledge and put it towards every day.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is negotiable, you know. He started using that knowledge towards like his kids and stuff, and they was more willing to listen.
Mm.
Look, man, I talked to a sheriff, right? He had a wife and a daughter, and I asked him, "What is your strongest point? What do you use your go-to for negotiation?" And he
Mm.
said, "Well, for him, it's basically the authority. He got the badge, he got the outfit. They see him, and he can tell you what's what. And people usually listen from the authority standpoint.
Mm.
But then his wife, while he was talking, cuts him off.
uh,
Says whatever, whatever, and he laughs like I can't get these two to do nothing though.
uh,
As big as a guy, like he was bigger than me. As big of a guy as he was, his little daughter and his petite wife didn't take him seriously when it came to negotiation. And that's because there's more types of negotiation than just authority,
mm-hmm.
you know? So they don't take your authority serious. And that's a problem,
Yeah.
for you to be the man of the house
Uh,
and you don't have no authority,
yeah.
Not that you're going to be controlling and like, a dictator. Nah, that's not the point. But if you tell your daughter right from wrong, you expect her to listen,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But she's not gonna listen because the wife not gonna listen, and she's gonna do what mama do.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna imitate, you know. And it's like, yo, I could pinpoint that after listening to this audiobook.
Yeah.
So that was very exciting. I'm like, yo, I just taught a sheriff how to be more, how to work more negotiations,
Uh,
like crazy, like that was a true experience. So Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. I highly encourage you to get that. Brian Tracy's Goals, and get that one. And if you're looking into real estate, Van Merrill's Wholesaling Bible. Those are the three books that I started with.
that's good, man. And actually, we're gonna take that what you just talked about, as far as like the authority with the sheriff, and
Yeah.
we're gonna just transition that into our second topic, which is masculinity.